Hey guys, before we get started, I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit of my routine for the last 7 days, where before I came down to meet with you guys and go over my morning devotion, I first woke up and washed my face off, I brushed my teeth, and I put on a fresh, clean t-shirt. And here I'm just brushing my teeth lightly because after I do my morning devotion, then I'm going to eat and then I'm going to do a deeper cleaning when it comes to brushing my teeth. Since I have braces, I have to take my time with it. It takes about a half an hour to 45 minutes to fully clean my teeth. And then after that, I am going to get started on this hair. This hair is, I have been letting it go all week. I've been chilling. I have been chilling since I've been home for a few days, so my hair is kind of dry and brittle, but I'm going to make it look like something in a few minutes. But I'm just showing you guys, I'm just going to do a little oiling, comb it through really good, and then I'm just going to press it out and make it a little straight and get myself ready. It was kind of great that I'm doing it now because tomorrow is Easter, which means I'll be all set for Easter. And I just might get dressed for Easter, even though we're not even going to church. So that's what my real hair looks like. I know you guys have seen it up in crochets for a long period of time. I got a lot of gray coming in. And I don't know if I'm going to dye it or not, especially since, hairdressers aren't available right now. But I may just decide to dye it myself. So that's it. That is my hair. And once I get enough oil in here, it's probably too much oil, but I don't want to burn my hair out as I press it. And so here is my tribute to the Don't Rush Challenge. Let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. This is day 7. I made it. Woo-hoo. It's day 7 and it is 10:41. And I know y'all are looking like, what's going on? She don't have those things. What I have in my hair, twist, and I am looking just a tad bit glammed up. So for day 7, I decided I wanted to get dressed up for the occasion and celebrate and show you guys I don't always look a hot mess. I do in the morning, but I don't always look a hot mess. And so I just wanted to get cleaned up and celebrate just a little bit. So as usual, and as you saw my video, you got to get ready with me just a little bit. Fresh breath, fresh tea. Today I'm drinking coffee. I have not drank coffee all week long. So today I'm drinking coffee, and no special reason. I just wanted to taste it. Most of the time I'm drinking tea, but I wanted to drink coffee today. So let's begin. So I knew, and the other reason why I was excited and wanted to get dressed because I felt like for day 7's devotion that Bishop Jakes was going to save the best for last. And he delivered. He did not disappoint with this devotion for day 7. So I encourage you guys. I encourage you guys to read it. Let me just go back and show you. Now, the funny thing is, I completed the devotion. So once I completed it, it wouldn't let me go back and look at some of the verses that were for today. So I had to restart it, but I'll cancel it later. But I had to restart it in order to go back to the scriptures. So again, it is the There Is More in You devotional. Let's see. I hope y'all can see this. There Is More in You devotional. Okay, hopefully y'all can see that. And it's day 7. And I went through all the other ones. It said I completed it. I promise I completed it. And today's devotional is Yes, Lord. And as you saw, there's corresponding scriptures to what I'm just going to click them all because I did them all. Corresponding scriptures to today's lesson. Today's lesson was so good. So, okay. Let me hit the start reading button. So again, we were talking about, he was talking about Peter. He was referencing Peter again in his story. Let me tell you, Peter is one to follow. He is one to follow. And I need a Peter in my life. I mean, I probably have a Peter in my life, but Peter is that one who you want to have in your corner. He will fight for you. He will cut an ear off for you. But he also had a heart that went out for God with ease. So in this story, he talks about how Peter was a fisher of men. He's a fisherman. He was a fisherman first. And God called him out to be a fisher of men. He was a fisherman, fishing for fish. And then he called him out to be a fisher of men, where he would fish for souls for Christ. Okay, and Peter so willingly, he accepted. When God called out to him, he accepted the call without question. Without question. Unlike some of us. When God calls us, some of us are, not us, some of you, I have not been called. Some of you are running from the call. You're doing this and that. You're being a Jonah, being this and that. And then God put you into the well. But Peter so willingly accepted the call. And when he accepted this call, he had to then go backwards into a trusting with God, with Jesus. And so in this story, in this passage of story, they went out into the sea, and Jesus told Peter and the disciples to go ahead to the other side of Galilee, and kind of like, I'll meet you there. I don't think the words were in there like, I'll meet you over there, but Jesus went up and prayed. So when Peter and the disciples went out to the sea was a little rough. The waves were blowing, the winds were blowing, the waves were a little ratchet. And Jesus came out to meet them. Now, they're just sitting out there chilling, just like us in our everyday life. We're just sitting out there chilling. And all of a sudden, afar off, we see Jesus. Peter saw Jesus walking on the water. And they thought it was a ghost at first because they couldn't believe their own eyes. They couldn't even believe what they were seeing. And so they thought it was a spirit. They thought it was a ghost. And it was kind of like a unanimous decision. Like, we don't see what we see. You don't see what you see. Like, bruh. So Jesus called out to him. So Peter called out to him and said, if it's you, Lord. Like, he was like, prove yourself. If it's you, let me know. And so he said in, let's see, what story? Which? He said, if it's you, command me to come to you. And Jesus said, come. So Peter, being bold, probably was like, look, I ain't gonna let this man punk me. This is 2020, so I ain't about to let this man punk me. He told me to come, I'm gonna come. Let's see what happens. And Peter got out there and began to walk on water as he was walking towards Christ. A miracle. He was walking towards Christ. But then he got into his own head and got into his own self, and he realized the winds are blowing, the sea is raging, and he took his eyes off of God, and he began to sink, and he called out to Jesus. And when he called out to him, he called out to him, Lord, save me. When he called out to him, Jesus extended his hand, and he caught him, and he said, O ye of little faith, why did you doubt me? That is still like modern day us. Like, we pray and ask God to help us, but then we still doubt that God is going to do it. But he's just that person. He has our back from the beginning, from the womb. Jeremiah 1:5 says he knew us from the beginning, from our mother's womb. And then it goes on later on, and Jeremiah says that he predestined us. He already knew who we were going to be, what we were going to be. He already knew about that moment where we would doubt his capability of performing a miracle in our lives. And he still showed up. So God already knew that Peter was going to doubt him, and he still showed up. He extended his hand, and he said, why did you doubt me? I called you to come unto me. I was not going to let you go. I was not going to let you sink. Like, I had your back from the beginning, which is how... This is the kind of friend we need, y'all, who has our back from the beginning. And it was at that point where they said, where the disciples declared that truly you are the Son of God. And they realized, like, this is for real, for real. Like, you are who you say you are. And again, this says in Jeremiah 1, I had to look up the word consecrated because in the Amplified version, it says, before I knew you in the womb, I knew you and approved of you as my chosen instrument. And as my bishop would say, an instrument in your toolbox. And before you were born, I consecrated you to myself as my own, and I have appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And I looked up the word consecrated because I hear it a lot in church. And so when I wanted to look it up, it said, when I went to look it up, and this is just a Google definition, that it says that you have been made, having been made or declared sacred. And in parentheses, it actually says of a church or land, having been made or declared sacred. And then it says declared to be or represent the body and the blood of Christ. So Peter was consecrated. He was declared to be a representative of the body of Christ. Now, when you get called to represent even a company, even a modern day company, they give you all the tools. I'm going to use paparazzi jewelry, for example, because I used to be, and Mary Kay, I used to be representatives. So when you represent the company, they give you all the tools and all the training you need. Being a disciple gave him all the tools and all the training that he needs so that once the training was complete and Jesus went back to heaven, they could go out into the world and to minister the gospel. And just like with Mary Kay and paparazzi, once you get your tools, you get your videos, you get your flyers, your worksheets, your business cards. Once you get your tools and you have all of your tools together, now you're ready to go out there and sell. Sell your jewelry, sell your makeup, sell your skincare. You're ready to go out there and sell. And so Peter's walk with God was his training to go out there and to represent Christ. In Galatians 1, 1 and 16, what I really loved about Peter is, it says, maybe I need to read 15. I'll read them both. Galatians 1, I'm reading from the Amplified version. But when God, who had chosen me and set me apart before I was born and called me through his grace, was pleased to reveal his Son in me so that I might preach him among the Gentiles as the good news, the way of salvation. I did not immediately consult with anyone for guidance regarding God's call and his revelation to me. Peter just did it. He put on that Nike spirit and he just did it. He felt in his heart, and his heart was right. And we have to make sure, like, our hearts are soft and our ears are open so that when God speaks to us, that we can just, when God calls, here am I, Lord, send me. Here am I, send me. So that we're not hesitant in what we were. Now, Peter had some issues. He had some downfalls. He was a rebel. He was wretched. He was. But he still kept with his calling. And it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight. When you give your life to Christ and you decide to follow him, for some, it doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes we have some issues that we have to work out. Peter had some issues that he had to work out. But yet and still, he accepted the call to Christ. And Jesus, in this story, what I love is that he showed himself as a lifeline. He showed himself as when Peter was sinking, as he stepped away from Christ, but as he stepped away from the moment and got into his own thoughts and his own fears, Jesus still held out his hand and gave him a lifeline, which is exactly what is happening in today. You can find so many stories and relate them to today's message. Sometimes when we see a matter and we're praying for something and it's not going either the way we want it to go, or it hasn't been answered yet, we take our mind off of Christ. We take our mind off of the prize. And here, when Peter did that, God showed him that even though you took your mind off, I was still here for you. I had your back from the beginning. That's the kind of friend I want from the beginning. He pushed Peter along. He encouraged Peter. He walked with Peter. He rescued Peter. And that is like one of the perfect friendships. Who wouldn't want that friendship? Who wouldn't want that lifeline to walk with God and to walk with Christ? And that's what I want for my life. So as I'm doing my devotion, I'm getting that training to help build up my walk, to walk closer to Him, to have that lifeline from here until eternity. And I hope you guys choose to do the same. I hope these devotions have blessed you, me sharing my devotionals with you for just the week, just for the 7 days. I hope these things bless you in these teaching and encourage you to start your own devotion if you're not starting your if you haven't already started your devotion. And if you are, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you do your devotional time, how you spend your time with God. Is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Is it at lunchtime? Do you spend minutes and minutes and minutes writing out what is revealed to you as you are reading your devotion? If you're listening to music, like today I'm listening to music. I'm listening to Michael Smith, Awaken. It's a worship. It's a surrounded experience. It's a worship CD. And I'll go into, I'll show you guys closer in my next video where I do a recap of mine before I rise. When I just do give a little bit more detail because I want to keep in. I'm at 14 minutes and 31 seconds, but I know it's going to be longer because I did get ready with me. And I guess that horn means it's time for me to go. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. And until next time, see ya. Thank you so much for watching and joining me for 7 days of Before I Rise. If you missed yesterday's video, you can check it out right here.